If you weigh 90 kilograms, it would be a weight 7 times bigger lying on your chest.
Well, the other crewman who shared that lucky escape was US astronaut Nick Hague. He was on his first trip to the ISS and made sure to doff his cap to his experienced captain.
Everything was new for me. It was my first time. So I have to give kudos to my and as we were going through this, he was able to tell me, what was normal, what was not normal. Obviously, a ballistic descent, we come up and we're coming back down in a fairly steep trajectory. And to lose all of that energy, it all ends up being absorbed as wind resistance and G. And so the G's built up pretty fast. Luckily, we didn't have the 6 to 7 G's for very long. It was only a handful of seconds, and then things were back down to normal. From that point, after that peak of G, it's a normal Soyuz landing, and so everything went nominal from that point on.
The US is pulling out of a nuclear missile pact with Russia. National Security Advisor John Bolton, who's a vocal critic of the treaty, is due in Moscow next week for talks. The Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty requires both countries to eliminate their short and medium-range atomic missiles. But President Trump accuses Moscow of failing to uphold its side of the deal.
Russia has violated the agreement. They've been violating it for many years, and I don't know why President Obama didn't negotiate or pull out. And we're not going to let them violate a nuclear agreement and go out and do weapons, and we're not allowed to. We're the ones that have stayed in the agreement, and we've honored the agreement, but Russia has not, unfortunately, honored the agreement. So we're going to terminate the agreement. We're going to pull out.
This refers to the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. This was signed in 1987, and it was viewed as a key moment in de-escalating and essentially ending the Cold War. Now, the treaty essentially outlaws nuclear missiles between the range of 1,000 kilometers and 5,000 kilometers. Now, repeatedly, Russia has been accused of violating the INF treaty. We're not only hearing Donald Trump say that the USA will pull out of the INF treaty, but we're also hearing that there is plans to begin production of missiles that are not allowed. Now, Donald Trump did say, however, if a new agreement can be reached, they will scrap those plans for production. Let's review his additional comments.
Unless Russia comes to us and China comes to us and they all come to us and they say, let's really get smart, and let's none of us develop those weapons. But if Russia's doing it, and if China's doing it, and we're adhering to the agreement, that's unacceptable.
Russia and the United States have repeatedly exchanged accusations regarding violations of the INF treaty. Let's review what's been said.
The arms race is getting out of control.
We did not initiate this turn of events, as you know. It was not we who pulled out of the anti-ballistic missile treaty.
Russia has been developing destabilizing weapon systems for more than a decade in direct violation of its treaty obligations.
We only responded to the threats that confronted us.
We're moving forward to modernize our nuclear arsenal and ensure that our capabilities remain unmatched.
We will never allow anybody to have anything even close to what we have.
If our American partners exit the agreement, we will give an immediate and reciprocal response.
It's shifting the blame and putting the burden of proving you're in compliance with something rather than showing that to the United States proving that Russia is not in compliance with something, or Russia proving that the United States is not in compliance. The way they say it should be aimed or geared at moving forward with negotiations and de-escalating the situation rather than just ratcheting up rhetoric.
Now, if indeed the United States scraps the treaty, this will be a dramatic shift, a break from what has been standard operating procedure in Washington regarding its agreements with Russia. And Trump may face opposition from within the State Department and within his own cabinet.
Now, a brochure for a kindergarten in a wealthy German suburb has attracted the wrong kind of publicity after promoting itself as having hardly any migrants. Nursery bosses insist they've been misunderstood. But as Hanisha Sethi explains, the faculty's also drawn criticism for focusing on only having well-to-do families on board.
When hunting for a daycare centre for your children, what tops your list? Great teaching, good care, nice atmosphere. Well, how about hardly any migrants? One kindergarten in the wealthy town of Hamburg promoted just that, leaving some parents mortified. In a promotional brochure, they highlighted the following.
Of the families with a migrant background, only a few take our care.
They've since deleted the sentence.
We've deleted one sentence that accurately describes the fact that there are only a few families with a migration background at the kindergarten. Few families does not mean no families at all.
The kindergarten also insisted it stands for inclusion and is equally open to children of German origin and families with a migration background. But that's not the kindergarten's only statement that drew criticism. It adds that the financial situation of parents living in the kindergarten's area is excellent.
A large number of parents pursue self-employed activity, such as lawyers, doctors, organisational consultants, brokers, business owners.
The backlash was quick to follow.
Yeah, enough money can do as much. Stay decadent until you have them. Let the stupid plebs mingle with you.
These are the Nazis in the guise of clean, pure Democrats.
Hamburg's elite masks itself with an immigrant-free daycare center in the Villa neighborhood as social elites.
We decided to see what Germans think about the issue.
As a mother, I would not accept it. I mean, you should and you could use other ways to attract people.
It's the wrong thing to do, because if you don't know each other, you can't work and live together.
You can only understand each other when you grow up together from the earliest moment.
People will have international careers, meet people from all over the world, so I think it's really, really important that already young people get to know different cultures, different ways of living and so on.
Although parents favor a multicultural society, when it comes to where to send their children, they start paying attention to the proportion of native nationals in the schools and so forth. So there might be discrepancy between what they say or do.
Our daughter was in a kindergarten for Spanish and Germans, and so there were a lot of nations, Latino nations and Germans together, and they spoke Spanish and German in that kindergarten, so she learned both languages in kindergarten already.
Everyone wants the best for their children, but whether the best means having non-migrant classmates and whether schools should be bragging about this issue is another matter altogether. Hanisha Sethi, RT, Berlin.
More great RT programmes start in a moment.
I don't have faith in this government. I don't have faith in my president. I don't have faith in the system. All right, sir. Happy holidays, all right? I'm dealing with a broken system that is not designed for people.